Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show where a man completely immersed in anime culture torments his co-host, who is only allowed to watch the shows featured here. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/animeoutofcontext. Alongside over 100 hours of exclusive bonus material, all episodes uploaded to Patreon are completely ad-free, even to non-patrons. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I hop out of the sky with a moonsault and pin Shaun for the 3 count.
I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
So we're starting off sexy, huh?
You're damn right.
Well, Remington, I've got a special situation for you today.
All right, I love when it's special.
Because today, the anime we're going to be covering was highly suggested by the Flop Boys.
I see. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You know, it's reasonable to do it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, David especially. But it's not the one that they demanded that we cover. Because I haven't finished watching that one yet.
Yeah, fuck you, Flop Boys.
No, they'll like this one too. Don't worry.
Okay, all right.
At least David's gonna love it.
All right. Shout out, Shonen Flop. So what? Oh, I feel like he's almost certainly mentioned it to me for some erroneous reason, even though I have no.
The man can't. The man can't shut up about things he likes. Comes with the weeb territory, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely respect him for it. So when I say the name of it, you'll probably recognize it, but you probably won't really know what the fucking deal is with it. But this week, Remington, we're going to be watching the first couple episodes of the supernatural comedy gag anime Witch Watch.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. The name sound familiar at all to you? Witch Watch?
Vaguely.
Yeah. Well, he did mention it from time to time because, you know, he thinks, and I'm putting this all on David because I find it funny that way.
You're taking no responsibility.
None whatsoever. Though I have read like 30 chapters of the manga because, you know, that's what I do. And, David insists that he thinks there's a good chance that you're going to enjoy this and find it to be a fun, silly show. And
but you're not endorsing that opinion one way or the other.
No, I think it's funnier this way. I'll give my opinion after we watch the show and get into the part 2. But
sure.
I think it's way funnier to just bring up our lovely friends at Shonen Flop and just be like, oh man, don't you think it'd be cute if I just threw them under the bus like this? Don't you think it'd be cute if I was just being a little stinker and being like, hey, so, you know, our good friends, they really like this show and they think that you're going to enjoy it as well. And then if it turns out wrong, then it's like, oh, but it wasn't my fault, Rem. I had no control. I was just doing a nice thing. It's a nice little pathway for me, I think.
All right. So tell me a little bit about Witch Watch.
Okay, so Witch Watch is, well, I mean, it kind of is what it is on the tin. It's a slice of life comedy show about our 2 main protagonists, Morihito Otogi and Nico Wakatsuki.
Okay.
And you're probably wondering, well, probably got witches in it, and you'd be correct. Our main character, Nico, she is a recently graduated witch, essentially. She spent the last 6 years training to be a witch and is now entering high school as a fully fledged witch. And, you know, the thing is that there's a few things all witches need, Rem. Magic powers is one.
Of course.
You know, equipment. You need various equipment to be a witch, you know?
Sure.
Yeah. A mindset is important.
I suppose so.
And of course, most witches have familiars.
All right. Okay. Crazy guess right off the bat.
Okay.
Just having their familiar just be a dude. Just a fella.
Not just any fella, Rem. The other main character of the show. And, you know, she makes the decision that Otogi is, you know, he's gonna be her familiar.
Okay. Oh, so it's not even... Okay. You know, I thought it would be sort of like a magical, like, you summon, and then, if anything, it would be like a summon, and it's like, it's a dude. But no, it's like, hey, you, right there.
Hilariously, Rem, there is an anime that has that exact premise.
Oh my god. Look, Shaun would be happy either way to be a familiar to a witch, whether they just demanded it, or whether he was surprise summoned and didn't know what was going going on?
Hey, don't call me out like that on my own podcast. Look, I like magic. I like women. Put 2 and 2 together. Bada bing, bada boom.
There you go.
But yeah, so she chooses Otogi to be her familiar, because one thing that she remembers about him is he is incredibly strong, like ogre strength strong. Which is nice, and also childhood friend. Like, who better to be a familiar than one of your best friends from childhood? There is just one problem.
Yeah. The problem isn't just like having a familiar that's just a dude.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Don't even worry about that.
Cool.
Yeah, that's fine. The problem is Morihito doesn't initially agree to this. Yeah, it's not the best idea. It's more like, hey, look, I'm your friend and I'm happy to be your friend, but I don't think I want this. But the thing about Nico is, she's more of a do magic first, ask questions later type of person.
I see.
Hence the comedy and situational situations they get into, and essentially accidentally volunteers him to be her familiar. And unfortunately, he doesn't really have a choice, because if he decides to break this contract through unethical means, then, well, he might get turned into a freakish monster of some kind.
Oh. All right.
But it's okay, Ren, because this is a lighthearted, fun comedy show. So, you don't need to think about the greater implications of that aspect of their relationship.
I guess we'll see. We will, in fact, see.
Yeah, well, hey, that's sometimes, haven't you ever seen Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes magic just happens and you got to deal with the consequences. And that is just kind of the premise of the show. And it's not like he completely hates the idea of hanging around her, because, childhood friends and whatnot. It's just, most of the time people don't like being dropped into magical pacts against their will.
Well, and what does it mean to be a familiar in this setting? Like, what are the obligations, I guess?
The obligations are to, help out your witch friend, make sure that they don't accidentally do something stupid with their magic, basically be kind of like the level-headed companion to the craziness that is a sorcerer of sorts.
That's just Jiminy Cricket, dog.
He is kind of acting as her conscience in a lot of ways, and her self-control. Yeah. But hey, it's more of a haha silly magical situation rather than just I'm just a little guy who lives in your hat and tells you what's right and wrong.
Sure.
But people say it's a very silly show. It's a very silly gag manga, and people think you'll like it for its simplicity and it's the fun it tries to have. Just don't think about the implications of, hey, if I say no to you, I might turn into a weird cow tiger monstrosity.
Sure.
Look, man, people get accidentally cursed all the time. It happens.
Okay. All right.
Comes with witches. That being said, if there are any witches out there.
God damn it.
So with that in mind, I think let's get started and let's go watch the first couple episodes of Witch Watch. And we are back after watching the first 4 episodes of Witch Watch. And Remington, did you have some chuckles? Did you have a good time? Or were your morals questioned in the highest degree?
Well, let's first start out with, this show is a weeb's wet dream. In multiple ways, but namely, very specifically, in the fact that there's so much anime and manga and shit like that referenced all the fucking time.
Yeah, quite a few.
All the time.
Yeah.
Like, good God.
It's almost like it's a gag manga in a very popular manga magazine. And what do gag manga love? Referential humor. And the best part is,
I don't know here's the thing. I don't know how much of it is referential humor, and it's mostly just referential in this case, right? They're not, like, a lot of it is just, oh, this thing exists, rather than, like, doing anything with it. It's just like, hey, you guys know this anime, right? To which the weeps, of course, will be like, oh my God, yes, I do. But let me put it this way, Shaun. All right? And you're going to hate this comparison.
Oh, dear God.
But take Umaru-chan.
Okay. It's been a while.
When Umaru-chan, like, references something, right? It's usually by through like a display in a silly way. I'm thinking of the like weird silly Mario Kart version with Umaru-chan. Just like you immerse it a little bit into the world, right? Or you modify it in a fun way, or you do something with it. That kind of thing, I think is totally acceptable. It's just a bit shallow and and trite when it's just, hey, they're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Hey, look, this hairstyle, it's kind of like this shonen protagonist, isn't it? Huh? Oh, look at the way they're flying. Dragon Ball, right? Like it's just being like, hey, isn't it similar to this thing? And it doesn't help that even before they really started inundating us with references, I already felt and do feel that Witch Watch is a largely derivative show, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it is a thing.
Interesting.
It's definitely... Look, I can tell that the creator adores anime and manga and similar media, right? And in a lot of ways, right, they're sort of trying to play the greatest hits when it comes to this sort of thing with their general style here, with what they're depicting and how they're depicting it, with the jokes that they tell. And unfortunately, this may come as a surprise to you, Shaun, I'm not a fan of anime.
What?
I know.
How can this be?
Shocking. Hosting an anime podcast for all these years, and yet the big secret comes out. I don't actually like anime. And so on that level, neither the references nor the, I don't know, I guess I'll be generous and call them like homages, reinterpretations. I won't call them lazy rehashes. I won't call them that.
Now, Remington, are you trying to be nice because you know that David had recommended this?
No, look, I'm trying to be nice because I do recognize that this show has effort put into it, right? It's just, I don't see a world in which it lands for me because when it's doing, like, for example, especially in the first couple episodes, a lot of the humor stems from a One Punch Man kind of thing, right? Where it is a straight man in a wacky, zany world. In this case, you got Moi and you got Nico. And Nico is all wacky and zany with her magic stuff, right? And it attempts to subvert tropes with nonchalance. In a very One Punch Man style. The issue, one, I think the heavily detached and ironic versions of tropes have gotten really overdone by now. They've gotten really overdone, and Witch Watch doesn't add anything to them. Particularly in these early episodes where there were multiple times. I write out my notes, right? In sort of two halves per each episode. I write what happens, so I can keep track of the actual events of the story, and then any miscellaneous notes I have. There were multiple times where I while typing what is happening, I would just fill in the punchline that's about to happen, the quote-unquote subversion that's about to happen, which you don't want for humor generally, but especially when you're trying to be subversive, right? You don't want it to be seen a million miles away. You want to be like, aha, you thought this was going to happen, but it was actually this. And instead I'm like, no, I was pretty confident the quote-unquote subversive thing would happen. So I wasn't... It was not a subversion of expectations in this case at all, in any way. And so I also think that there's a certain, while there's polish and variety, there's just a lack of depth and, I suppose, craft, I would say. What I would compare it to, here's the recipe for this, all right? One part One Punch Man. You got that over here. Oh, not a bad ingredient to have.
No, it's a fantastic ingredient.
One part, we'll go with like a Sabrina the Teenage Witch, right? And then one part, like a knockoff Mr. Beast imitator video on YouTube.
Ooh.
Not Mr. Beast, but all the people who are like, I want to be the next Mr. Beast. So they are derivative of even Mr. Beast, but have that very specific style. And it's all polished. It's all very well polished. Don't get me wrong. Those videos, right? Like, boy, oh boy, they it is polished slop, those kinds of videos. They're not things I would want to watch at all. But I recognize, like, man, you got the ingredients for, like, retention there. And with Witch Watch, I'm like, man, you got the ingredients for weeb here. You got it. You have all the ingredients. It's shallow. It lacks much depth. It's doing things all in the most predictable or safe way. You know who I would compare it to? There's a director. So obviously, Shaun, you and I love horror movies.
We do.
We love horror movies. And there's one horror director in particular that I'm thinking of right now that I would compare to Witch Watch, in that they are a talented director, a respected director, a very popular director, and one that I can't really stand. And that's James Wan.
Yeah, there it is.
No, his best stuff is like, his first Saw, kind of interesting. And then, like, you get into the Conjuring sphere and, like Insidious and whatnot, and it's just...
Yeah, God.
And look, those Conjuring and Insidious and horror movies like that, they are well crafted. They are very polished, right?
Yep.
But they're just kind of doing the most shallow, basic stuff in the safest possible way. And to do so, they have to understand the mechanics of the medium, right? And they do understand the mechanics of the media. They know on a technical level how to do it right. And then they do. And I just don't find the products very interesting, because the polish isn't enough. It doesn't feel like there's actual personality or originality behind it. It's just telling a very marketable story in a very marketable way.
That doesn't seem... You know, I feel like most of the James Wan fans out there probably won't have much to say, because I don't know if they listen to our podcast all that much.
Well, I mean, there's plenty. James Wan stuff, it's extremely successful and popular, right? Extremely so. And so I don't like almost anything that he's done, but you see, they're popular.
Well, are you
They're
trying
popular
to...
and other people really like them.
Are you trying to tell me that you haven't seen the entire Saw franchise, even the ones that weren't directed by him?
Unfortunately, I have seen the entire Saw franchise.
Oh, you have? Was that one of your recent binges?
Yeah, it is a mess, but I'll be honest, when it leans into the absurdity, it gets decent.
Oh yeah, no, like it is at its best.
Or at least entertaining.
Yeah, soap opera Saw is the best kind of Saw.
Anytime it takes itself to, like, serious in a non-campy way, it does fall flat. But yeah, so I feel like Witch Watch, it has that James Wan quality of being polished and marketable, and even once again that knockoff Mr. Beast quality of polished and marketable. And I think the vast majority of people will really like this, especially the weebs, where there's plenty of fan service, both literal, both like sexy fan service, and also just, hey weebs, you know this. There's a reference. Did you get your dopamine? We said the name Gone Freaks. Did you get dopamine there? And so I think that, like, oh, it'll be very popular, very successful. There's just not a lot, and it's not, there are some things with some merit in this show, right? There's bits and pieces, but so far we have sort of like three parts of the show. On one level, you have the romance, which I do not give a shit about.
I mean, in fairness, it's not even mentioned in any of the tags for this show, so that's probably fine.
Yeah, it's like, they're just like, yeah, she's really into him, and he's aloof. It's like, oh, okay. That's kind of all there is there. Really, it's vacuous thus far. There's just nothing. There's nothing to even really speak of. And I'm gonna even further level with you. Even past, like, romance, even just like on friendship level, the main characters don't have a ton of chemistry. Because, like, his thing with having to be aloof to her advances sort of just makes him aloof to her, but oh, he's a silent protector, which is also a lame ass trope that I give a fuck for, because it's not very interesting. It's just not very interesting.
Well, they must be doing something right, because they're currently at chapter 201.
Well, yeah, they're being extremely marketable, especially they know their audience, they know how to create a product for their audience, all right? I'm not going to fault them for that. That is what they have done here. And unfortunately, that creates a kind of product that I really don't like, because here's the thing. It's such a smooth product, right, Shaun? There ain't no wrinkles, no bumps, no prickles. I need some texture, god damn it. The things that are created to be universal 7s or 8s out of 10 bore the fuck out of me, right? Those rarely get me to give a shit. Far more often, it's like, hey, no, you created a more niche product, but something that has a little bit more personality, because you didn't try to just appeal to the lowest common denominator and just every single person equally. You had something, you had a story you wanted to tell, you had a message you wanted to share, you had a theme you wanted to explore, like you really wanted to do something. But back to the different things it's trying to do. So romance, it really falls flat. Fortunately, it's not the central focus, but it does get foregrounded more than I would like. The second thing that I'll sort of combine are like melodrama and lore. There have been so many exposition dumps, Shaun. There have been multiple exposition dumps, because for some reason, and I'm sure it's because that they'll get weirdly more serious later, or have bits where they're suddenly serious. And if I really witnessed any of those, I wouldn't like them. I'm almost certain, because it's setting those up with boring and poorly executed exposition dumps, where it's like you'll get a letter from a character, or you'll get a flashback where you hear everything from your dad. Early on, he's talking, Moya's talking to his dad, and it's like, hey, well, as you know, here's how ogres work, which you are, and here's how witches work, which she is. And Moya's like, well, yes, as an ogre, I know this already. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Come on, man. It's the go-to example of bad exposition. It hurts me. It hurts. And even worse, like Moy pretended to be shocked at the beginning of it, I guess, even though he knew it all already, because they had to get a shitty gag. There's so much of that in these first 4 episodes of just later they're like, yes, well, the Tengu and the ogres have a long history of hating one another. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. You don't need this to be a monologue. You don't at all. They're not fun. They're not entertaining. Whereas I can say, like, the third element, which is the humor and the gags, that those at least have polish and variety, even though, unfortunately, almost all of them fall very flat for me. I didn't find a lot of humor in the show, but I could acknowledge that's where the effort is being put into. The melodrama and the lore, no, that was very poorly done. That had terrible execution. There was no polish there. There was no... The gag and humor, polish and variety, but it didn't succeed, at least for me. The lore, no polish at all. That was just badly done. Good God. And so those are the different realms. The strongest thing by far are the gags, right? Especially as we start introducing more ensemble characters. That definitely helps it out. But, you know, for a gag anime, I didn't find it funny. And so that's gonna put a damper on things, unfortunately.
Yeah, that I feel like that does kind of get in the way of your enjoyment. If we're watching a gag anime, if you don't particularly like the gags, then that's kind of a death knell, I suppose.
Yeah, I just found it to be once again, it felt like I'm just watching some shitty YouTube where it's like, yeah, I mean, you spent some good money on the graphics and all of that, but you're telling the jokes for at most 10-year-olds. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It feels it feels very simplistic and terrified of going over anybody's heads. It's terrified of anybody missing any of the jokes. So it needs to make them all simple and obvious, and unfortunately that will have the effect of making it so obvious that they can be seen before they happen and way less humorous.
So now, the important thing I need to ask you, Rem, do you have any words specifically for our dear friend David of the Shonen Flop podcast?
Look, clearly this is actually, this show has quality behind it. Now I wish that perhaps its focus was a little bit different, but there is quality, and I understand that. And further, it does have a handful of moments. I appreciate that even though Moy is super paranoid about people discovering he's an ogre or that Nico's a witch, when they're both revealed, people are like, yo, that's dope. That's dope. You have superpowers. Really cool shit. I like that. Now, I don't like the build up to that, where we still had to deal with like do we not tell the best for the best? And that also was uninteresting, but at least, hey, they don't actually care. Great news. Great news. We can all just vibe together. That is preferable to me. Because I wasn't having a great time when they were doing the extra cliche thing of needing to hide it for no reason. But then that just makes me also think of how Moy's character is mostly trash because it's just very paternalistic white knight bullshit, right? Where it's like, oh no, I can't tell her that there's a prophecy that she'll fucking be endangered or something. I can't warn her. And he's like, maybe I should, but no, I won't, because she might worry. And then she's just sort of like, oh no, a klutz that'll always run into problems. It's a very boring and, some might say very sexist dynamic where it's just a girl repeatedly getting herself into trouble and the guy who has to always save her and gets to decide whether she even gets to know how much danger she's in or not. Not great elements, not tremendous, but it has good elements and little. Hey, when Moy talks about how he loves European clothing, all right, boy, he comes alive in that brief moment. I'm like, holy shit, he cares about something. No, that's primarily just for a gag, but it's something. And then even I don't think that Nico's character is particularly interesting, because like we've seen it before, but there is a lovely moment, not in one of the episodes properly, but in one of the little like next time on, right? The little end blurbs. There's one bit where I think in episode 2 where she's ad-libbing some lyrics to a song basically, right? And she's singing badly, and it's charming and different. It's not in the main episode, and which is. But it is the most distinct characterization moment she gets in the whole thing.
I see.
Everything else is so fucking basic and the exact same, and it's the same tropes. And there's one bit that she like clones herself, but then it's really just like a splitting spell, and then she turns into 4 actual little children. And I feel uncomfortable with that, especially with the romance plot. I don't like that moment. That's just a weird moment. That's just an uncomfortable moment. Especially because it will repeatedly give fan service of her. Don't, for the love of God, don't then be like, yeah, what if she was a bunch of like 8-year-olds? Like, don't do that. Please. Please.
Man, I just feel like you're reading too much into things, Remington. Are you sure you're not looking with the most wholesome of eyes?
All right, well, first of all, this show will be pretty blatant with its fan service at times, right?
What? No, definitely not. Like, there's definitely not a scene where Moy fully punches the dress off of her.
Yep. And look, it's not the worst when it comes to trying to shove fan service everywhere. It tried, once again, it wants to be maximally marketable, so it wants to have enough fan service to get the weebs going, but not too much to turn off any of the even mildly prudish weeps. And so you really want the biggest tent possible. I think the OP and especially like the visuals for the opening, fantastic. It does a lot of cool stuff there. Often the visuals are strong, though they overuse some filters. Yeah, look, this is a very marketable show that if you're a weep, you're gonna like it, right? Or you're probably gonna really like it. And I am so bored by because it's mostly the same jokes told in the same way, or a few times it'll like do something even a little bit new, then it'll find a way to to make it the most familiar and cliche thing, and it's just it feels like there should be so much novelty to it, and there's just not a lot. I don't know, man. Just watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It's a better show. It's a better show.
Have you actually seen Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
Oh man, when I was young, I'd watch it all the time.
Do you remember anything about it?
Yeah, you got Sabrina, and she's with her aunts who teach her magic, but can no longer do magic, or maybe just one of them can no longer do magic. Can't remember the exact details. Yeah, Salem. He's a homie. He's great. He's just sassy as hell, right? That's what this show it needs. It has a lot of ironic detachment, right? But not enough sass, not enough. It needs Salem, not just any kind of sass. I want specifically Salem.
You want specifically the puppet cat to make an appearance and have his witticisms.
Yes, I do.
Well, hey, maybe there's a Salem-like character in the future. I mean, after all, 200 chapters. Like, yeah, not just any gag manga can stay that long in Shonen Jump.
Yeah, like, this is, like, genetically modified sawdust, all right? It has been scientifically engineered for the weeb's liking.
I see.
And I'm happy for all of you guys. It's great. That's great for you. It's great very specifically for you.
God, you're talking to someone like you would if you hadn't seen them in a few years and you found out that they decided to vote Republican. Like that's what it feels like you're trying to say to them. Or that they've left.
Rollins always bringing the Republicans back into it.
Okay, listen here. Or I don't know,
Shaun,
leaving the church.
Look, I love that for you. Even though, just like voting Republican, I do judge you. Just like I judge the people who love the show. But hey, for you it's great, all right? But like for society, maybe it's a step towards the degradation.
Well, hey David, I tried.
I mean, Shaun, I noticed that you haven't pushed back much.
Oh no, because like this is like the safest of safe shows. And I stopped reading at about chapter 20.
Yeah.
Like I might pick it up and like binge it now that I know there are 200 chapters and see if it gets better. But like at the time when I was reading week to week, I was like, I'll dedicate my time reading that chapter to reading something else.
Like my personal preferences tend to be towards media that does something in a different or unique or exceptionally remarkable way, right? I want a little bit of novelty. And so this, while it's very polished, right? They understand the basic mechanics on how to design a show like this. And they're creating a show for the rubric, right? They're creating a show for the rubric, and for that reason, it will succeed. But also, for that reason, I'm going to forget about this show so fucking quickly. This show, it will end up in the smelter with all the other generic bullshit, and I will remember so little of it.
That might be the most scathing thing you could have said about this show, Ram. I genuinely can't think of anything that would have been more damning than that, honestly.
I just want it to take some big swings, god damn it. I want it to do something different.
Maybe it does. Maybe it does.
I've been trapped in anime hell for so many years, you guys. For hundreds of episodes. I've been here. I've been here doing this. And so do you know how much it hurts to be given something and then it's the same shit, especially when you're like, oh, look, the chef who made this dish, they're talented. They've been trained. You're like, oh, that's great news. Oh my God, finally. And you're like, yeah, this is gonna be a lovely dish, higher quality than you're used to. I'm like, oh, thank God. And then they pop it down and they're like, it's just dinosaur chicken nuggets. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why'd you bring in a chef? Why'd you bring in a chef to bring me? These aren't even custom dino nuggets. They just made like Tyson dino nuggies, the best anybody's ever made them. Oh, that's real neat, but like it's still just Tyson dino nuggies. Why would you do this? That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
Well, then I suppose the question is how do the weebs feel? What do you think the Mal score for this show is?
Oh God, it's gonna be. I think they're in love with it. I think. All right, okay, let's see. It's a newer show. I think. Do the weebs? I think. How hyped is it?
How hyped?
I need to see if it's hyped enough to get a backlash.
Well, it's a Netflix exclusive.
Ooh, oh shit! All right, okay. Automatically subtract some points for that. Not for really reasons I understand. I just know that will happen. I don't know exactly why I'm doing that, but it feels right to do that. So I'm going to say if the weebs.
Sorry, I misled you. It's not a Netflix exclusive. It's just heavily advertised by Netflix.
Okay. If the weebs rated it between 7 and 8, all of them. But then we have the weeb factor, so increase that a bit. But then maybe we have a little bit of mysterious backlash. Or maybe there's some weebs who either say it's overhyped or who, like me, are like, safe, polished cliches aren't interesting. There have to be some. No, but that feels too low. But I also, like, with all due respect, who the fuck is giving this a 10 out of 10? And the answer is a bunch of weeps, because their rating scale is actually a binary. But they're actually rating on a binary. But, like, for the people who appreciate all 10 of the numbers on the scale, who's giving this a 10?
I can't wait to tell you how many people gave this show a 10 out of 10.
Way too many is the answer. I'm gonna sort of like split the difference. 7.75. That might feel a little low, but that's what I'm gonna go with.
Is that your final answer?
Sure.
Okay. Well, with only 13,900 ratings, not exactly the most watched show of the season because there's currently 8 episodes out. So, you know, those who have watched it, it is sitting nice and pretty at a 7.5.
Oh, weird. Wait, do the weebs agree with me? What the fuck? Don't get me wrong, 7.5, that's a good rating. It's a solid good rating, but it's like only a good rating.
Yeah, like, so genuinely, Rem,
this show pandered to the weebs that fucking hard and it could only manage a 7.5?
More or less, yeah, because I'll tell you right now.
I'm in love with you. That's kind of embarrassing.
Maybe it translates better in the manga. I don't know. Who can say? But yeah, Rem, out of those 13,000, nearly 14,000, only 1,300 gave it a 10 out of 10. Whereas 10,000 of the ratings are floating between 8 and 7 out of 10. So perfect 7.5 there. Like, it is stupidly close how close those 2 percentiles are.
Oh, see, it's so fascinating because it's more or less like exactly where I thought I guess I overestimated the like weeb extra because I did blatantly say that this was right between. It was trying to be the safest 7 to 8 out of 10, but I thought that like for the weebs that would mean something higher.
Nope.
I thought, but even then, no. It is just the safest show.
Like, it is quite literally on the bell curve, Rem.
Good God.
I'll tell you right now, not many people have written full reviews for this, on this site at least. And the people who absolutely hated the show just don't really have much to say about it. They just found it annoying and called it at that. And the people who do like it for all the reasons you said. It's like,
yeah,
you couldn't have been more on target with how people reacted. So yeah, no, like it felt like a 7.5 out of show to you on Mal because that's exactly what it fucking is.
Man, I shouldn't have started overestimating because I guess I thought that although it's more or less it's trying to be a 7.5 on Mal, like that is its platonic form.
Yeah, that is just kind of where it's ended up. And who knows? It's getting a full 26 episode season, so maybe by the end of it that'll change. Again,
I don't know. I assumed that the references would carry the weebs further. But it looks like the weebs weren't as impressed with the very shallow references as I would have predicted.
So is this you congratulating the weebs or condemning the show more?
Hey, why not a little bit of both? I'm pleasantly surprised at the weebs. Asterisk, I still not wildly like. Come on, it's still you still weebs. You still let it hit exactly the spot it wanted to hit, right? You rewarded it perfectly for its safety. I'm grateful you didn't give it more, but it's still like more than it should have gotten. But then the show, I'm like, man, you catered that hard and you couldn't even muster a few extra points out of it.
I mean, hey, if it makes you feel better, this show is doing worse than the other anime by the studio we covered.
I have no idea what that would be.
We covered it recently. The studio was Biberi. We've actually covered 3 things from them now.
All right.
But the one that you would most easily remember would be the 100 Girlfriends Who Really, Really, Really Love You.
Jesus Christ. God damn it.
So yeah, that's their other claim to fame. And the other one they did was quintessential quintuplets. So
holy fuck.
So, though I think they only did like season 2 in the movie, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Content like this, I'm like, it's nice that there's quality put into it, but it just falls into the James Wan trap. And what's rough about those, it's always like, it's a strange experience to recognize effort and recognize like, yeah, it's checking off the checklist, It's doing everything expected of it. But I don't care about that. Give me, you know what? Here's a deep cut we referenced somewhat recently. I don't remember in what context, but give me a Violence Voyager over a Witch Watch any day of the week, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Is it rougher around the edges? You're damn right it is. Is it way the fuck weirder? Fuck yeah, it is. It is fucking wild. But does it stick with me a lot more? You're damn right.
Well, we'll see if we can get something a little bit more spicy next time, Rem. How about that?
Oh yeah, I'll just trust you on what the fuck that means. Yeah.
When have I ever led you astray, Remington?
Oh, how many episodes have we done of this shit?
Quite a few. Quite a few.
Almost one for every day of the year. So
yeah, you gotta keep you on top of your game.
Oh, man. All right.
So I guess with that, the final question I need to ask you, Rem, is there any chance you want to watch more Witch Watch in the hopes that it actually has that spice you're hoping for?
It does seem to be improving a little bit, especially as it goes towards more of an ensemble. But I just don't care. So no. It's just such a boring experience.
I'll be sure to tell David exactly how you feel about him and his shows and manga he likes.
Oh, man.
So with that in mind, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you enjoy Remington having just the exact experience you expected him to, then please head on over to wherever you get your podcast and leave us a review. They mean the world to us, and we do read every single one. And if that is still not enough, twitch.tv/anime out of context, where myself, Dylan, and Remington occasionally play video games very poorly. And especially recently, I have been pretty consistent in streaming twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays, I've been doing an Elden Ring randomizer with a friend. And Thursdays, I've started the insane goal of trying to play every Final Fantasy I can in order. So if you want to hang out...
See, you're damn right. He's going to be gooning nonstop for a long, long time, ladies and gentlemen.
God, the temptation to try and force you to play a Final Fantasy game is so high, Remington.
They're just too long.
You say that about 30-minute anime.
But yeah.
You have commitment issues, sir.
Why I don't like committing to shit.
I'm glad we're in agreement. Great, fantastic. I'm glad we understand each other. Fantastic. God. And yet here we are in this eternal relationship of ours.
Oh man. See, and this, if anything, 360 some odd episodes in, this has taught me to be wary of commitment, Shaun. Look what I got myself into. All because almost a decade ago, I was like, oh, dear friend Shaun, why, we should do a thing together. That'll boost your spirits. And here we fucking are. Here I am, my well-being just week after week after week decroding.
I mean, in fairness, you do give me like a month's worth of hell as well. Like I do get some stuff in return.
Yeah, but it's not equivalent. It's never equivalent.
But again, twitch.tv/anime out of context. And if that is still not enough for you, patreon.com/anime out of context, where you gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including the opportunity to be thanked live on the podcast. So, Rem, who are we thanking this week?
Well, as always, we would like to send our regards to all of our bland bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we get to our yandere waifus, who are casting spells that go wrong in hilarious ways. And on that list we have Yandere Neko, Wolfire56, Why Does Everything Want Banana Shaun? Where's our DBZ review, you ginger fuck? Wes Kane joining your local ballerina biker gang. Week 11 of using my Patreon name to request code Geese. Watching Requiem for Spoon Man at 0.5 speed. Variant, totally good. Titan CNH. The Susanator. The Opie Wrangler, formerly known as Mommy Milkers. The Danish Viking will conquer the world with Zoro as my navigator. That time I reincarnated as a podcast host and forced to weeb. That has no place in Fairy Tale's 100 Girlfriends. Turban. Swaraj Verdi. Super Zoo. Stolen up from each of the Shonen Flop guys. Thanks for distracting them. Stacy's mom. Shout out from Lairdo Jail listening to this passes time quicker. Are you listening to us in jail?
Oh, God.
That's crazy. That's wild.
Glad we could provide some entertainment.
Shaun wants to give Spoon Man a thank and yank. Shaun's hair apparent. Shaun, with the Pope gone, you can now properly thrust guilt-free into the loins of Judy Hopps lovingly before marriage. Well, see, now there's another Pope, so now he can thrust filled with guilt, which is how Shaun likes it. That's right, Shaun Red Pill Rollins, the guilty thruster.
I don't want that epithet. I really don't.
Right, it'll be right on his tombstone. Red Pill Rollins, the guilty thruster.
That doesn't seem ideal in the slightest.
Oh, Shaun ruined my happy sugar life when I had to change my Patreon name because of blackmail. Shaun reminds me of half the trans girls I know. Shaun, quit soaking with my grandma, please. Shaun heard about the Pope and gooning in solidarity. Shaun and Remington killed the Pope. Sir from the Shark plushie. Shaun and Judy featuring the Pope's cuck casket. Excuse me. Ryan Moody. Ross Palmer. Riding on the struggle bus. Rhiannon Williams. Remington is right. Rem uses the drums of liberation to free all weeps from bad anime. Rem say haiku about Shaun soaking in Judy. Rem doesn't completely hate my favorite shows. Red Pill Rollins and Goonington with Pet Dylan Goon. Oh, Jesus. Red Venom, Professor Fox, Pro Tips Out of Context has run out of things to post, will come back soon. PJ Turtle, PJSK Addict encourages Alien Stage for Pride Month Week 2. The whole series is an amazingly well done tournament arc. Paco Musico, Old Trigun is best Trigun, last name was made when I was drunk. Never letting Rem forget about his vampire past. Mekeka 7 Hierto, Macaroni Uchiha, Lucky Stars the King of Moe, Link Jokerl, The Nerd 98, King Ritrock, Katie, Cassidy, Jax, Jam Hands, Jake Dent. I'm making Rem say ethnic slurs until you bring back the Chef No Musco tier, Shaun, you white devil. I will never get more Ace of the Diamond, now I cry. I can't believe I made an account for this. How about reincarnated in a world where isekai anime don't exist, says Misuka, looking for true wish fulfillment. Horny and unfortunate MILF in your area. Gordon Ramsay's raw sausage. God! Glenn Michael Dolan, getting a Maylord enema with the Chicago Pope. George Edward Bottom, a.k.a. Bear Trap, but brought to you by the Penguin Demon. Fern the Fern, Farmer Weep wonders if white smoke makes Shaun horny. You're damn right it does. Fantide, Erica McCorkle, Danielle Riot, Teddy Rem, tell me bedtime story about Shaun's nut. Calderius, Cheese Monkey, Butler Rat's Twitch is doing pretty good. Oh, and Lindsay affiliate means I can start earning money from people watching and ads. Bustin' like 2 liter Rollins. 2 liter Rollins.
What
Excuse
the hell?
That is an astonishing. Is that just like what he's holding or what he's unloading? Because I mean, either way, it's wild. But one is even crazier.
I really hope we're talking about the blood in my body, because if it's anything else, there's a problem.
The lore that we get each week about my lovely co-host.
Oh my god.
Brockard for Geodudes, I'm officially coming out as low-key trans on this Patreon read. Hey, congratulations. Boring Siren, Blarf, Blackout Drunk Before Butt Stuff says Miska, Bento Kato, Astral, Amazing Muffin, Aisha Gucci, a Moe Piece of Trash, 12 Days of Xmas Suggestion 3, Pupa for 24 hours. And now we move on to the Boy Wizard tier. What are they going to get this week, Shaun?
You know, I hadn't thought that far. Let's see. You know what? They're going to get an episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch to watch.
All right. On that list, we have Umbracite.
You can have the 1996 pilot.
Truckoon Operator number 42.
Bunt Friday.
Tokyo and Not is regulation listener that listens to 100% Eat because it's morning somewhere, Blue Satan.
Terrible things.
Tokyo Anon from Bandori, It's My Go, loves when the Harikage gets played because it annoys Soyo-san.
A Halloween story.
Titaro is now a night terror, beware all ye who slumber. Hey, thanks for the support on my YouTube.
A Dream Date.
That Mouse Girl.
Third Aunt from the Sun.
Starting that fake grind.
Magic Joel.
Spoonman the Aristocrat.
Geek Like Me.
Silent Secondary.
Oh god, I hope this one isn't racist. Sweet and Sour Victory.
Scourge has Misaka and an IRL girlfriend now.
A girl and her cat.
Sammy K sincerely hopes Shaun likes his hot dogs Chicago style. Hashtag Pope's Oak 2025.
God, is this the place to mention where I just am not a fan of hot dogs?
But have you tried them Chicago style, Shaun?
I have.
Well, you're going to be trying them a lot more frequently.
Okay,
right?
you know,
I've heard they're an acquired taste, and boy, you're going to acquire that taste nightly.
Trial by Fury. God, if Leo ever finds out about our podcast, I don't know what's going to happen. They can have Jenny's not dream.
Rem treats Shaun like the Vaporeon he is.
Mars attracts.
Power Cell begs Shaun to stop soaking in his Lopunny. He still has a couple gym badges he needs to earn.
Sweet Charity.
One Piece is the best anime, prove me wrong.
Cat Showdown.
Monogatari is everything you ever said you want in anime. This week the MC has one bad character trait, but he knows.
The Great Mistake.
Mike.
Just straight up the Crucible.
Miguel Delion.
Troll Bride.
I'd like to start a petition to replace the word brat with Kudere.
Moving on to season 2. Dante's Inferno.
It is now May, and Shaun is yet to show Rem Bang Dream It's My Go because he's afraid of Mortis claiming his soul.
Witch Trash.
I, Rem, demand you to show me Bandori It's My Go, otherwise I will play Harukage again and again and again and again and again and again.
Sabrina Claus.
I, Matsumi, will have Mortis swallow Shaun's soul never to return unless he shows Rem Bandori It's My Go.
Little Big Craft.
Hidden Otaku.
I don't like this title, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Finger Lickin' Flu.
Oh no. Yeah. That's an uncomfortable one. D.
Yeah, it's apparently Sabrina gets a case of finger flu.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Don't want to know what that is. And they can have the Equalizer.
Well, and Shaun, obviously finger flu, it's when you're casting spells like without a wand or anything, just with your hands, then they're gonna malfunction, all right?
Yeah.
It's the inspiration for the whole entire anime we just watched.
Hilariously, I think that is actually what it is. Like, based on the brief description here, Sabrina's case of finger flu gets so out of hand that her powers are transferred.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, well, hey, there you go.
Crimson Reapers, just because of the sides.
When teens collide.
I think we all know what happens then.
Yeah.
Captain Beagleboy wants One Piece on episode 400.
Well, not in the 90s, Rem. That doesn't exist in the 90s.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. No teens were having sex in the 90s.
No. Not if any of our television at the time was to be believed. Quiz show.
Carver 271.
There is one that is just called Disney World. I forgot this was a Disney-owned show.
Yeah.
Sabrina's Choice.
Allfather prepares to riot for Pride Month. He does not want a repeat of last year, Shaun.
Again, not my fault. Rumor mill.
And now we move on to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler tier, where Shaun will cast a spell upon you as Joey Wheeler, and I, as Joey Wheeler, will tell you what that spell does. We start with, if you want to be able to walk tomorrow after having sex with me, I better work off some energy, Shaun.
Dear God.
What they want to be considerate. They want you to be able to walk.
You know, I appreciate that. I do like having the ability to walk. That is one of my favorite things. I need to give them a spell, huh?
Yeah, cast a spell.
Cast
and then
a spell.
I'll tell them what happens.
Okay. You know, the spell you're gonna get is Find Greater Steed.
You cast that spell, and then Shaun shows up in your bedroom with a muscle.
No.
A muscle and a harness.
Okay, all right. You know, I walked into that one. I wasn't.
If you cast it at a
clearly.
high level, he'll have the saddle too.
It's what I get for looking at paladin spells.
Next we got follow Anime Out of Context on Blue Sky. Follow Shaun on Blue Sky. He streams Tuesdays and Thursdays. You're welcome, Dylan Ubauk. See, so consider he's shilling for us.
Yeah, you can find me on Blue Sky. I post about my stream schedule, and I also occasionally post my random thoughts if you care about those. Just my name, @Blue Sky. There you go. The spell they can have is, let's see, you can have prestidigitation.
And what that allows you to do is anytime you want, you can press the digits on any calculator. It's not a very good spell. Last but not least, we have 2005 Pope Dies, Revenge of the Sith in theaters. 2025 Pope Dies, Revenge of the Sith in theaters. It's all adding up.
Well, in that case, to be thematically appropriate, you can have Force Cage. I don't think I like the gears that are turning in your head right now, Remington.
So he's casted Force Cage on you, and that means that you are now our assistant editor of the podcast. All right. It is the same cage, so it's approximately half as roomy as it used to be, which already was not great.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like if we're talking rules as written. At most, it can be up to 20 feet on any side, and that's at most. Excuse me, a prison in the shape of the box can be up to 10 feet on a side. My bad.
Yeah, it's not a lot going on.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. If you want to reach out for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. We love and appreciate you very, very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Tyson Dino Nuggies!
Hachi Machi.